Hello and welcome to In Conversation With. I'm Liz Lumley from Finextra, and joining me today is Marion King from MasterCard and Josie Wessells from Brent County Council. So we're going to talk about, of course, payments, card payments, and local authorities. So I'm going to start with you, Josie. You're in the finance department at Brent Council, which is a London Borough. And you're going through a particular business issue right at the moment, and I was wondering if you could take us through it.
Yes, of course. One of the things that Brent Council does is to disperse direct payments which are for vulnerable people. They might have a physical disability, a learning disability, and so on and so forth. And the payments that were being sent to them were in the bank account so that they could use the same funds to purchase care, whether they be carers or getting agencies to come in and care for them. But as a local authority, we've got a duty of care as well as a duty to monitor what is being sent out and being spent, so that both those things have to be satisfied. To satisfy the duty of monitoring, we were asking people to send in quarterly returns, which were very much like your tax returns, pretty complicated. And as you can understand, as you can probably appreciate, that a lot of our service users couldn't file these returns in on time. We came up with we wanted to come up with a solution which will minimize the time it takes a user to fill in these returns and improve the accuracy of this information. And that was the challenge that we faced at Brent Council.
So how did you address some of these issues, and how did you work with MasterCard to achieve some of the benefits?
Okay, so we knew that MasterCard were pioneering, or were pioneers rather, in the prepayment solution. And but as a prepayment solution, we needed, it was a prepayment solution, which meant we could transfer the money onto the prepayment card, but it didn't satisfy our requirements of the monitoring. And this is where we partnered with MasterCard, and in fact a supplier of theirs called PFS, who are program managers for MasterCard, and developed a solution which was a single shot solution where you provide the transaction information, so the amount of money which is going to go out, and provide the monitoring information at the same time. In fact, one will not work without the other. So unless both pieces of information are provided, the transaction wouldn't go through. So that in effect forced the service user, our service user, to provide the monitoring information at the point of transaction, rather than have to remember this for the next 3 months and then write it down in the returns sheets and send them back to us. And that was the main reason that we did. There were other benefits as well to the council in terms of providing management information reporting, which meant that we could now forecast what our needs would be much better than we could before.
So, Marion, I'll bring it back to you. What does this mean for MasterCard to work on projects with local councils such as this?
It means a great deal, because MasterCard is the leading provider of prepaid cards in the UK. This is a great application where not only does it enable the payment and help encourage financial inclusion, for, as Josie said, this is for vulnerable people that find, online and all of these things quite challenging. So not only does it help the consumer, but it's helped solve business problems for Brent Council and for Josie's department, which enables them not only to disperse payments efficiently and effectively, it makes it easier for those people that they're serving, but also it provides Brent Council with better data, better management information, faster systems and processes, which enables in turn Brent Council to save costs on this programme.
So, I bring it back to you. Does Brent Council have any plans to sort of build on the success of this project?
We already are. We have extended the scheme, a similar scheme, not exactly the same scheme, into our staff cards as well. We also disperse payments now to asylum seekers on prepayment cards. And we also have children who receive direct payments. So this was the adult scheme, and children who are receiving direct payments, not directly themselves, but the parents receive it, but the scenario is the same. And we plan to roll this out to the parents as well for those children receiving direct payments. In the future, you may have heard that central government is talking about universal credit. And so we are keen to extend the scheme to other forms of benefits as well. As to what they will be is up to central government to decide and us to simply implement. And
I'd just like to add to what Josie said in terms of pioneering, because what's happened in London Borough of Brent is a great example of how in partnership, we've improved the way that welfare is dispersed. And absolutely now in our discussions with broader government, these ideas and these case studies are being picked up on. And I think we can benefit from that as universal credit is rolled out next year.
So Josie, I mean, this project at Brent has been sort of mentioned in the Wall Street Journal, that there's a specific sort of case individual that this has benefited. Could you take us through some of the details of that?
Yes, of course. It's benefited lots of service users, not just the one, but only one was mentioned in the Wall Street Journal.
Mm-hmm.
And this gentleman has a daughter who's severely disabled. And the amount of direct payments that we send to his daughter are used to purchase care. But on top of that, the father has to spend a lot of time caring for his daughter as well. And he simply doesn't have the time to do to fulfill the monitoring requirements required by Brent. He did that anyway. But with the prepayment card, he was interviewed and he said that it's saving him up to 3 hours a month, which is a hell of a saving for a guy who's taking care of his daughter, a disabled daughter. And he's very happy with the scheme.
Saving for any parent.
It's a saving for any parent. So he's saving time. And the other thing that he mentioned was that if there were any discrepancies down the line, so say for example he spent something and Brent Council then goes back and says, could you tell us, Mr. X, what did you spend this for? We're not very clear about it. 3 months down the line, when he provided the monitoring information, he probably couldn't recollect exactly what the spend was. Whereas now, because it's he has to provide the monitoring information at the time of the spend, there's no need for him to keep all these documents together for all eternity to answer the council's questions.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's excellent. Well, thank you very much, Marion and Josie, for telling us a wonderful story about efficient government helping people in Brent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.